Right, we're back, and I think it's dried very nicely. I don't know if this is showing up, it should be, but this is the, for me, the gold effect I get. Looks very goldy looking. Of course it does. What a silly thing to say, but that's what I like about it. And we've got the sash ribbons, gold on the breeches, the gold down the side of the breeches, the scabbard. I've left this gold at the moment. I've got the straps that hold the scabbard. I've got to put a red line down the front. The sabretache is done, and a bit of orange, and I did the gold on the front of the pelisse. So I'm now going to, I think it's working, I like it anyway, this red. It's darker than I thought, but I'm going to go with it. So I'm now going to put some red on the dolman and see what that looks like. Right, I'm just going to put my other light on. Give me a bit more light for painting. Right, so we need to go up to this. This is oh, it's miles away. Just move the camera a bit. This is a glue-on arm, so it can look a bit weird. It sort of sticks out a bit. I cleaned it up. I pin drilled the socket out again and cleaned up the pin on the arm, but it's still, for me, sticking out a bit too far. Right, I've got to come down here and paint a bit there. I say this may not work doing this close work, filming it. It's damned awkward. And obviously, as everyone will know that does this, is not a natural position to get into. I sort of crouch and hover over the painting table, and then I'll sit up straight and then back to hovering, constantly moving. I'm painting all these weird bits, but that's probably just me. I don't know. Other people may do similar things. Right now I've got to, oh God, I've got to get in his back, which means I'm going to get red on the pelisse. Now the inside of the pelisse is red, isn't it? Oh, it doesn't matter. Moaning about nothing there, so that's okay. Well, that's how Mr. Francesco painted it, so if it's good enough for him, I'll have red on my pelisse as well. Inner, because obviously the outer pelisse is green, representing a garde d'honneur figure. I'm assuming he's garde d'honneur. I think he is, isn't he? A bit more here. Is that showing? Oh God, upside down. Yeah, that's where we got to. That's not a very rich red cardinal. Not sure about that red still, but there we go. It'll look alright when it's done. It'll be alright on the night, as they say. Do you remember that, Dennis Norden? If any of you are old enough to remember Dennis Norden. I'm very old, of course. I've been wargaming for nearly 50 years. 1972 was when I started. Tell us about the war, Grandad. Yeah. 1972. And when I started, there was no such thing as fantasy wargaming. Shock horror. Yeah, you youngsters won't believe me, I know. No, it didn't start till what? I came over from America, I think about, wasn't it 74, 75? Yeah, whoops, sorry about that. Yeah, there was just wargaming, and it was hard enough to get people to do that, so you can imagine what it was like when fantasy started, and all the youngsters were just encouraged to come in to play war games with proper figures. Went off for orcs and dwarfs. We were not happy bunnies, but there you go. That's life. We lost that battle. Some of the youngsters, which will be some of you guys, have obviously come back to wargaming, and some of them never did. They stayed with the fantasy, which is fine. But I never cross over to the dark side, as we call it. I stayed pure and simple. More simple than pure, but... And that's one of the reasons I don't buy fantasy paints. And again, hard for some of you guys to understand, but there was a real battle of wills. Back in the 70s, wargamers had nothing to do with fantasy if you were a pure wargamer. So you didn't buy fantasy paints, you bought nothing to do with fantasy. And fantasy players the same, bought nothing to do with wargaming. It was how it was. I know it's not like that now, but I can honestly say I don't think I've ever bought what you would call a fantasy paint colour. I don't know, green slime, or, you know, whatever they call all these things. So often when people tell me what they're using colour-wise, and they quote a fantasy colour, because it means nothing to someone like me, not knowing, nothing about that there fantasy stuff. I'm trying to do the cuffs now in the dark almost, because I have a lot brighter light on for painting fine detail, but it's no good with the camera, so I may not be able to do this on camera. We're getting there. I have to keep disappearing off to get the little fine details. That's basically got most of it. Very awkward, very awkward. I've got to do the cuff on the sword arm, which I think I'm going to do off camera. I got a little bit of red here I can do at the top, but I need the stronger light on. So yeah, that's most of that. I'm going to go off camera, do the bits, and then come back, he says. I think, yeah, because there's some tricky bits which I need my other light on, and I can't do it while I'm filming this. So, back in a tick, folks. Oops, that's where we are now, as you can see it. That's where we are. Okay, so I've done the fiddly bit with the red, and I've also done the shako. Got rid of the collar in this darker red undercoat, I speak English, and I've done underneath the pelisse, I say the top's going to be green. So I'm going to go off camera now and do the second coat of red, the dark vermilion red, the brighter red, and I'll do the orange, and then I'll come back to you. Oops, tip it out of the way when that's all done, and then you'll see where we've got to. Okay, so I'll go do that now and then come back. Right, so what we've done so far, since we've been gone, as they say, I've done the red at the top, and it's got a dark red, the lighter red, and then an orange, which gives you can see the back of the coat. I'm saying coat, pelisse underneath there, orange. I've also done the shako with an orangey colour. As I find, so 3 shades for the red, and the shako's done as well, and that's had the 3 shades. So that's basically rider, all this clothes, shako. I've obviously now got to do the pelisse in green, which will be my next task, so I'll get stuck in and do that, and then hopefully if I get time I'll come back and show you that. Oh, I'll do black on the top of the shako, I think, as well, and probably the sword hand. Sorry, the actual sword. Yep, that's where we are for now. Well, folks, here we are at the next stage. So what I've done is, as you saw before, the red's all finished. Lots of shading and 3 shades of red through to dark red through to mid red to orange. Painted the sabre, that's black now, waiting for the silver, and top of the shako is black because it is, because it was that way in the other picture. Also done the green pelisse. So the outside of the pelisse is green. That's got 2 shades on there, dark green and then a sort of mid green for shading. I will add what have we got? I'll add quick shade green tone. That adds a nice rich bit of shading, so I shall add that. Obviously the fur around the pelisse is a browny colour, but that on it's got green and gold on it and bits and pieces, and some of it's worn off. Like there, you can see it's white, so that'll have a coat of paint. That'll be I think my next job to do. I've got to do the hairline, and then I'm going to paint the thin gold line around the top of the collar. It's definitely there, it's been sculpted, so I've got to do that. It's a real pain, but there we go. Flesh, ears, hair, the gold and the silvery bits there. I think that's what I'm going to do next. Just keeping you guys in the loop. And say I can't really paint these, it's just too tricky to paint at the moment, these finicky little bits, and film it at the same time. So I'll get those done and back in a tick.